Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. It is the first Thursday of the month, which means it is recipe time on Across the Fence. Easter is just a few days away, so there are likely a few chocolate eggs around. But Easter also has plenty of traditional recipes and menu items. In Vermont, the traditions are often tied to our agricultural heritage, specifically Vermont maple. Let's join Chef Marco in the kitchen along with his special Easter assistant.
Thank you, Fran. Hi, I'm Marco Ayala, and I'm here to share another recipe with all of you. Indeed, April is here, and that is very exciting for many reasons. One of them, the fact that the plants are starting to come out, things are starting to get green, we're starting to see some blooms here and there, which means spring is pretty much here. Also, with spring comes Easter. And of course, we have the Easter Bunny, which is a lot of fun. So I asked my little assistant, Nico, whom, by the way, is also wearing his bow tie for this show. So I asked him if he would be willing to be the Easter Bunny this year. And he said that the only way that he will do it is if I will do it with him. So with the magic of TV, and now we have two Easter Bunnies. But I think with one is more than enough. So we're gonna let Nico go hop around while I show you some recipes. And well, as I said, something that I really enjoy is making recipes that are decorated, because I think that they're a lot of fun and your guests and family do really appreciate them. So I want to start with an appetizer. So I came up with the idea of making this little decorated baby chick devil eggs. And oh my gosh, aren't these the cutest little things? And they're not very hard to make. So let me walk you through the process. First, you're gonna take 12 eggs and you're gonna hard boil them. In this case, I am only going to use 6 because I have a small family. Once your eggs are hard boiled, you're gonna shock them. And how do you shock your eggs? And why? Well, you're gonna put them in an ice bath, and that is going to make it much easier to peel them. Once your eggs are peeled and cooled off, you're gonna cut off a generous top third of the egg. Then very carefully, you're gonna remove the yolk and pop it right out. Put the yolks in a mixing bowl. To the yolks, you're gonna add 1/3 cup mayo, 1.5 teaspoon mustard, 1.5 teaspoon rice vinegar, 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/8 teaspoon salt, and then mash everything together until smooth. And something that I learned while making this recipe is that dealing with the filling was much easier once it was cool. So you're gonna pop it in the fridge while you make the decorations. First, you're gonna take a plastic straw and you're gonna cut about 1/3 of it. Then you're gonna take some black olives, and then you're gonna gently squeeze down the straw against it for the straw to cut little circles of the olive that will pop right out. Then, for the beaks, you're gonna slice a few rings of carrots and cut each ring of carrot into 6. Once the filling is cool, you're gonna transfer it to a Ziploc bag or a pastry bag and pipe it into the egg bases. Then you're gonna add the top and put on the eyes and the beaks on each little chick. And Nico, who had his friend Gus over for a visit, while he looks for his forever home, verified that all of the ingredients that I was using were only the freshest. And as you can see, Gus approves. As I said, you can use your own recipe for deviled eggs that you like best and just decorate it with the kids, with a family member. And again, just remember that it's all about having fun in the kitchen. And now that we have our appetizer taken care of, let's talk about a main dish. And what do most people do for Easter? Ham. And I'm pretty sure that you have a great recipe that probably came down from your family that you make for Easter. And I'm a big proponent of keeping those family traditions. However, something that we all have after Easter is a lot of leftover ham. So how about we make a casserole out of those leftovers? And that's how I came up with the idea to make this leftover ham and spinach casserole. Because one, I love pasta. Also, it feeds a lot of people, so you can feed your whole family with just a few extra ingredients. So it won't break the bank. And most importantly, it's delicious. So let me tell you how to put it together. First, you're gonna preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Then, you're gonna prepare 16 ounces ziti according to package directions. Then, in the same pot that you cook your pasta, you're gonna add 1/4 cup butter, 1/4 cup all-purpose flour, and you're gonna stir it until it's smooth. Then, you're gonna gradually add 2 cups milk and keep stirring it to keep it smooth. Then, you're gonna add 2 cups shredded extra sharp white cheddar cheese and 1/4 cup grated Parmesan cheese. Reduce the heat and keep stirring it so it doesn't become lumpy. Then, add 1 teaspoon garlic powder and half a teaspoon pepper. Once all the cheese is melted, you're gonna add 3 cups cubed fully cooked ham and 10 ounces frozen spinach that has been thawed and squeezed dry. Then you're gonna transfer it to a baking dish and you're gonna bake it uncovered for about 20 to 25 minutes or until heated through and nice and brown on top. How easy was that? And as I said, this recipe is going to feed your whole family for very little money because, well, you already have the ham and the rest of the ingredients are ingredients that you probably already have in your freezer or your fridge. So there it is. I hope you give this recipe a try because, as I said, it is absolutely delicious. Now, let's move on to dessert. Another reason why I love April is because it's time for maple syrup. The sugaring season is in full blast, and Across the Fence had an update with Mark Esselhart about how the season is going so far. So you didn't have a chance to watch that show, make sure to go to our YouTube channel or the Across the Fence website so you can see what he had to say about it. And as I said, maple is something that I really enjoy cooking with. So I made this maple frosted cookies. And I'm telling you, they're absolutely delicious. So let me tell you how to put them together. First, in a bowl, you're gonna add half a cup butter, softened, and 1 cup brown sugar. Using an electric mixer, you're gonna mix it until it's nice and fluffy. Then you're gonna add 1/4 cup maple syrup and 1 large egg. And if you don't have a stand mixer at home, not to worry. You can use an electric hand mixer. However, it's gonna take you a little longer to get all the ingredients combined. Then you're gonna add 1 teaspoon vanilla extract and 2.5 cups all-purpose flour, which you're gonna be adding gradually. Then you're gonna add 1 teaspoon baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon. And keep mixing it until well combined. Prepare a couple baking sheets with parchment paper. Then, using a cookie scoop, take about 2 tablespoons of dough and roll them into balls. Place them on your baking sheet about 2 inches apart. Then, using the bottom of a glass or a cup, you're gonna press each ball until they're about 1/2 inch thick. Then, you're gonna bake them for 10 to 12 minutes. And depending how long you bake your cookies is the kind of result that you're gonna get. As you can see, this cookie right here is a little darker. I baked it for about 12 minutes and it's more of a crunchy cookie. You can see there, it's nice and crunchy, which is the way that I like my cookies. However, if your family likes softer cake-like cookies, you can bake them for about 8 to 10 minutes and make sure to take them while they're still a little lighter. And as you can see, these are more cake-like and they're softer. And as you can see, Nico and Gus were guarding the oven until those cookies were ready. And what makes these cookies so good is the glaze. And it's one of the easiest glazes I've ever made. It's only a few ingredients and it comes out absolutely perfect. So let me tell you how to make it. In a mixing bowl, add 1.5 cups powdered sugar, 1/4 cup maple syrup, and 1 to 2 tablespoons milk as needed. Mix it well until the consistency is smooth but not overly liquidy. Then you're going to take each cookie and dip it into the glaze. And you can also spoon the glaze onto the cookies and you get the same result. So it really depends on the way that you want to approach it. And that is it. You let them rest for about, I will say, an hour or two so the glaze hardens and it's not liquidy anymore. And that is the hardest part because these cookies are absolutely delicious and I could barely wait to get my hands on them. So I hope you enjoy all these recipes. Here are our appetizer and our main dish along with our dessert. So let me know how you like these recipes by connecting with Across the Fence through social media. So remember to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all the latest updates of Across the Fence right on your phone or your computer. And with my little assistant Nico, who is still willing to wear his bunny ears. Well, maybe not. There we go. From our kitchen to your kitchen, we wish you a happy Easter and happy cooking. And enjoy your food.
Thank you, Marco. And as always, great to see you and Nico. We'll see you both again on our next recipe segment on Thursday, May 4th. That's our program for today. Once again, thank you for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Eat well and stay well.